Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being in this space today and for your solidarity and for holding space to hear about Lam's journey and his need for a direct pardon. And thank you, Lam, for your courage and for entrusting us with your story. So just over 2 months ago, the United States violated a 2008 agreement between the US and Vietnam to protect refugees and immigrants from deportation if they arrived in this country before 1995. On March 15th, 2021, ICE deported 33 Vietnamese refugees and immigrants, several of whom fled the war, escaped persecution, spent years in refugee camps, and resettled into the United States. And these community members were sent back to a country they haven't known since they were young. And these community members have been separated from their families and from their community. So without a doubt, these were incidents of anti-Asian hate and anti-Asian violence. Since 1998, over 17,000 Southeast Asian Americans have been given a final order of removal for deportation, and nearly 15,000 individuals still live in the US today with a final order, living each day not knowing if or when they'll be deported, living each day not knowing if or when they'll be separated from their families and from their communities. So this is an issue about equity and fairness and accountability. And the first point I want to make is that Southeast Asian American communities were displaced when the US occupied Southeast Asian countries, leading to the mass refugee crisis of the 70s and beyond. We are the largest group of refugees who have ever resettled into this country, and deportations failed to consider the US's role in the war and genocide and violence and the displacement that we faced, and how deportations continue to re-traumatize our communities. The second point is that many Southeast Asian Americans faced challenges coming into this country, resettling into underserved neighborhoods, living in poverty, experiencing significant mental health issues like PTSD from their experiences, and having low educational attainment and other socioeconomic challenges. And many wound up in the criminal legal system for making decisions and mistakes in their youth as a means of survival. And third, most Southeast Asian Americans have lived in this country for years and decades and have completed time for their old convictions. They've admitted and learned from their mistakes and transformed their lives. They've built families and careers, and many continue to contribute to their communities today. And these individuals do not deserve a double punishment through deportation. And especially in the last few years, we've seen how our political leaders continue to scapegoat and demonize refugee and immigrant communities. And we have to demand that our leaders recognize the dignity and rights of all communities, including Southeast Asian Americans. And Congress can change unfair and outdated laws, but state leaders like Governor Newsom can grant pardons to directly remove the risk of deportation for community members like Lam. Nearly 80% of deportations for Southeast Asian Americans are based on old criminal convictions. So something like a pardon could allow individuals to reopen their deportation cases, to eliminate immigration consequences, and can restore their civic and civil rights and dignity. So here are some of the ways that you can help Lam as well as other community members who are at risk of deportation. The first is that you can advocate directly with your policymakers. You can research your elected officials and send them emails, do research on your issue and topic and what you want to share and bring to the table, request meetings with your policymakers and their offices, and share your story, share your resources, your materials, and your ask and your request. And remember that these lawmakers are accountable to you because you are their constituent. In California, you can also support state bills that focus on anti-deportation and reforms in the criminal legal system, such as Assembly Bill 937, the Vision Act, which aims to end transfers of incarcerated folks from prison to ICE facilities. You can support by signing sign-on letters for the bill. You can contact your representatives to support and vote yes on this bill. You can attend the Capitol rally tomorrow on May 27th and research who the co-sponsors of the bill are so that you can find other ways to support this bill and their work. Many organizations also offer advocacy and capacity building trainings to do this type of advocacy and policy work, such as SEARAC's annual leadership advocacy training, and in the last year and this year, our digital advocacy training, which we offer each summer. The second is you can also organize and support campaigns just like this one for LAM by convening supporters and stakeholders, creating messaging and communications tools, drafting sign-on letters to decision makers, and just making a lot of noise and building solidarity through rallies, social media, conferences, events, and etc. And you can support Lam directly by uplifting and resharing his story and his need for a pardon through some of these social media posts and information that SEARAC has gathered and shared. You can tag Governor Newsom in them. You can sign Lam's petition, and you can also join the rally for Lam's pardon on June 3rd and show our support in numbers. And other organizations who are also at the forefront of this work and have a lot of experience doing similar campaigns include Asian Prisoner Support Committee, the SEED Project, Advancing Justice, Asian Law Caucus, Release Minnesota 8, the Providence Youth Student Movement, PRISM, Viet Lead, Viet Rise, SEAC Village, and so many more. And third, you can also support community education, community outreach, and fundraising. And deportation cases can actually be costly and require extensive legal support in finding immigration relief. So you can support by helping to fundraise or donating to organizations like the ones I just mentioned, to help expand the organizing efforts, to help expand their reach to communities and supporters, and to help pay for fees and services throughout the legal process. So this is all to say that we can't let another community member be unjustly deported. For individuals like Lam, something can be done, and a pardon by Governor Newsom would restore some humanity for our communities and individuals like Lam, who has escaped war and violence, who has endured a difficult childhood and has already repented and served time for his mistakes. And we need to recognize that individuals impacted by inhumane social and immigration policies deserve the right to heal, deserve the right to rebuild their lives, to be with their family and community, and to have their dignity restored. And these people and individuals who are important parts of the community, who contribute back to the community every day, should not have to live their lives in fear, should not have to live each and every day wondering if or when they'll be separated from their family and their loved ones. Thank you so much.